returning from the first film is Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, and all the other essential cast for Spider-Man 2. Now, this is the sequel to the first film, of course, Spider-Man, which was in 2002, and this one is released in 2004. So let's get straight into this film. Now, the plot of this film consists of Peter Parker, after 2 years after the events of the first film, is struggling to really mix his double lives into one. You know, because he has his duties as Spider-Man, and of course, he has his personal choices as Peter Parker. And what happens is that all the choices are going completely wrong for him. His grades are slipping, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock's really bringing terror on the city, and Harry Osborn's hatred for Spider-Man, for what happened to his father, and what's overall going on between Peter and Mary Jane is really torturing Peter to the fullest extent, and he's still coping with his uncle's death as well, as is Harry with his father's. But like I say, in the meantime, Doc Ock brings even more problems in by getting himself going crazy, and then Spider-Man has to stop him before he ends up destroying the city. So that's the basic plot of the film. Now, let's get straight into the pros and cons of the film. Pros. Now, the acting, I can't really say too much on the acting here, but it is still top-notch. Tobey Maguire, like I say, he established all the pros and cons of his character, and that's really what drove his character's piece, you know. So, I think it's a plus for him on that part. James Franco, Kirsten Dunst, all the other side cast I thought were brilliant. It didn't act over the top in situations. The right amount of acting required, you know, and it may sound like gobbledygook what I'm saying, but either way you'll know what I mean if you've seen the film. And I appreciated all the actors in their roles. J.K. Simmons, particularly as J. Jonah Jameson, is pretty hilarious, and particularly he's most noticeable in this film, I think, because in 1 and 3 he's not quite as up there, whereas in 2 he really is up there. Other things I loved about the film, the cinematography is amazing in this film, and I mean amazing. The fight sequences, which is another thing I loved about the film, they were brilliantly filmed. You know, every time that Peter Parker and Doc Ock fought each other, it was just brilliantly done. You could see what was going on, and yet sometimes the camera was shaky enough to create more suspense for you. You know, another thing I loved about the film was that the running length, with the exception of the beginning, wasn't too long. You know, it didn't feel too rushed, and you know, and this is regarded as one of the best sequels ever made. And Tom Chalbash rightly said in his review that this was considered to be the best superhero movie until The Dark Knight came out. And I wouldn't say it's the greatest superhero film, but all the same, it's still a superior sequel. Other things I liked about the film, you know, the character development, I thought, and the mixture of the drama and the story and the action was brilliant. It was all terrifically well done. I cannot blame Sam Raimi for creating such a pretty much a near-perfect franchise. And I say near-perfect because here's a couple of problems. The only two things I really had, they're nitpicking, but anyway, here we go. The first one, sometimes I felt the humour fell a bit flat on its face. It tried to establish Sam Raimi's idea of humour, and it didn't really excel in making people laugh sometimes. The only other real thing that kind of pissed me off about this film, sometimes I think the beginning particularly was a little bit slow. You know, it could have gotten more into the action a bit sooner. Yeah, but look, those are just nitpicking. Overall, Spider-Man 2 is definitely better than Spider-Man 1, only just, but it's easily better, and it's one of those sequels that really is superior to the original, even though The Dark Knight is still my favourite film ever made. So that's my review of Spider-Man 2, and until next time YouTube, I'm going to swing out of your screens, and then swing back in again shortly for Spider-Man 3.